Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 23rd episode of the Social Good Podcast. Today we have with us Philip Toussaint. He is the founder of Ecopreneur. Thanks for being with us, Phil.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Sujong. It's been a minute. Happy to be connected again.
Yeah, Phil is actually has been the first guest on the Social Good Podcast. And so he was on with us in 2021. We're so happy to have you here.
Yeah, I know. We had such a great conversation. It was such a blast. So I'm really happy to be back and really just, catch you up and update you and we can have a great conversation. Yeah.
You're based in California right now, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
I am. Right now I'm in San Diego. I think last time we connected, I was in Boston. I'm a Boston native. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've been to San Diego actually. Lovely beaches. I've been to La Jolla and such. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous, part of California. And like,
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
it
and
because there's so much to see. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
went to school over there, so I'm totally,
Yeah.
totally rooting for you to, do
Really
everything
cool.
awesome in San Diego. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome. Where were you at in San Diego? Sorry.
I think I went to Phil's barbecue actually, now that I remember,
Okay.
with
Yeah, yeah.
my college buddies.
That's awesome. Really cool.
Yeah, yeah, and we went to the beach and saw some seals and just
Awesome.
the whole shebang. Yeah. So, yeah, what have you been up to exactly since 2021? It's been 5 years, 4.5
Yeah,
years.
absolutely. Yeah, it's been a while. When we spoke initially, I was, starting Ecopreneur and kind of getting into it. And at the time, I think we were still a media company. So we were
That's
doing
right.
video content around sustainability and we had a whole YouTube channel going on around that.
Yeah,
And, the pandemic hit, and I think right when you and I had spoken, I
yeah,
was going through a pivot at that time. So I was just coming out of being a media company and trying to
that's right.
transition into essentially where we are today now.
Yeah,
So it was
yeah,
it was quite a journey behind that. Yeah,
yeah. Like as any entrepreneur should be doing, we should be pivoting and just aiming to improve.
absolutely.
Yeah. Tell me about that journey. Why did you pivot from a media company to what you are today?
Yeah, yeah, great question. So when we had, we had to pause everything because of the pandemic, and we ended up having to stop filming and everything around that. So when that was going on, we were just pretty much like a kind of a limbo state. We were at a halt and we were like, okay, how are we going to move forward? How are we going to build something going forward? It was just all over the place at the time. And there was so much uncertainty and so many questions to answer. And we were just kind of lost in that moment. So we ended up running a bunch of surveys at the time. It was really at that time, my previous co-founder had kind of departed, and it was just I was a one-man team again. So I came across a couple of mentors, got their opinions, and they suggested that I run surveys with the audience that I had already built with the video content that we were producing on our YouTube channel. So with
Yeah.
that being said, I ended up, you know, putting together surveys, running that in like Facebook groups and different things that we had going on. And we ended up getting a lot of good feedback from that. And the common theme that I'd gotten was people wanted an action oriented platform going forward versus, just another educational outlet, another like, essentially another YouTube channel. Um, so we took a step back and and I reevaluated everything. And when I say we, I mean myself and my mentors at the time that, kind of helped me out. And, we ended up crafting what the future of Ecopreneur could look like. And then we ended up going down the path of where we're at now, where we built a volunteer platform. And then we ended up not really pivoting, but really just finding our niche a little bit more in education.
Oh, I see. I see. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the platform. Like, who are you guys working with? And how did you arrive? How did you secure your partners in education.
For sure. Yeah, so we are a volunteer platform now, so we help schools and students manage, track, and fulfill volunteer hours. It's pretty much the focus going forward. We found that niche just because of my own personal experience in the past, my co-founders as well, and then even other people on our team that were helping us at the time had either children themselves that were, having to do volunteer hours, or, ourselves in the past having to deal with that. And the common theme that we found was it was very manual, it was very time kind of sucking, and it was very just
Yeah.
like very daunting.
Oh.
And with that, it's a very manual process. A lot of these schools have to track hours that students are doing via paper and pen. And also,
Oh, I see.
it could be like, kind of makeshift Google sheets that they put together trying to track hours. And it's a whole like process. I've seen crazy Excel sheets with calculations I probably have never seen in my life. And,
Yeah.
a lot of these administrators have to do it that way. So, we saw an opportunity there and we were like, okay, well, let's tap into that. And, fast forward, we ended up working with a trial client, which was really good. We did a kind of like a pilot phase with them. Um,
Are
and then from
your
there,
clients
yeah,
middle school or high school?
high school mainly.
High
Yeah.
schools. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
middle schoolers don't do the volunteering.
They can. We've seen a lot of schools typically will have that middle school connection, whether they have like a branch of the school, 6 through 8, or middle schools in general will have the hours being, a requirement for the students to complete. Um,
Okay,
but
so
that's
it's
not
more
all the time.
commonplace in high schools.
Exactly. Yeah. It's more
I see.
commonplace in high schools. But needless to say, that it still does happen in middle schools. It's just not as often. But with that being said, whether it's like National Honor Society or like if the school has its own requirements, they'll require that. Yeah.
So, I mean, I actually went to high school in Houston, in the
Yeah.
States as well.
Yeah.
I recall back when I was, in high school, they encouraged us to volunteer, of course,
Hmm.
just just in and of itself to cultivate that
Yeah.
habit, but also because it was a huge boost when you applied to colleges. Is that still the
Yeah.
case, and is that what Ecopreneur is kind of having a hand in?
Absolutely. Yeah. Pretty much in a nutshell. You hit it right on the nail. And pretty much like what we've seen as we're getting more into education is that niche focus of not just volunteerism and the hours of having to get that done, but taking it a step further and saying, how can we even impact students at the career level? And thinking about career readiness and workforce readiness and essentially a career pathway that we start to create. And
Okay.
that always starts with experience with volunteerism is what we've seen as a theme.
Okay, so do you guys continue to provide the hour tracking, volunteer hour tracking for college, into the students into their college careers,
Yeah,
or
so
just the focus?
the main focus is high schools right now. But what I will say is when it comes to higher education, institutions, there is going to be a transition where it's like, okay, you did a lot of great volunteer work in community service, or you gained a lot of experience in high school in general. Now, what kind of experience are you going to get in colleges? And that's going to typically be internships, paid opportunities that students are now finding. And we're looking to also offer that to students in college. Um, we haven't tapped too much into that yet because the focus right now is our volunteer platform. But later on, our focus is to definitely transition and
So
expand the pipeline.
are you guys an app, or like a web browser?
Yeah, yeah. So we're a web application right now. And then later on, we plan to roll out a mobile application in tandem. Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, like tell me a little bit about like the feedback you've gotten and how have you you know found direction with Ecopreneur, Phil?
Definitely. Yeah, so we've gotten a lot of good feedback, especially with our users recently with the school that we worked with. We worked with the school in Massachusetts. I was able to secure that, especially because I'm from Boston, so I had those connections there. But yeah, we, started there and really started to build feedback loops as far as like what kind of user feedback can we get to improve the platform. Before that, it was a lot of just assumptions and just kind of assuming based off, market research. But we ended up, working closely with that client during our, pilot phase trial that we kind of did. And then we were able to get good numbers out of that, but then also good learnings on like what their needs were from the administrative standpoint, but then also from a student standpoint too. So we've been using that as our foundation, and then now we're moving into a phase two where we're going to be working more closely with schools. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Like, what was that feedback from the students
Yeah.
and school administrators? I'm so curious
Yeah.
to know the feedback.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, happy to open up a little bit about it. So, some of the feedback, for example, that we had gotten from the client that we worked with was, you know, matching opportunities to students, for example. So there's an opportunity there where students can get a tailored, personalized experience when they create a profile on our platform. And we're thinking about ways of how we can implement essentially an algorithm behind that. Another, another thing that we learned as well with them was just ease of use. Overall, there was a lot of kind of missing user experience, or what we like to call in the tech world UX. Essentially a lot of UX that was missing in the platform. And it was just basic kind of accessibility points and, even as simple as like confirmation pages to confirm actions. That was some of the feedback that we had received, and those are things that we're going to be using to enhance the platform to make it more easy to use and just more dynamic for all our users.
See, I see.
Yeah.
And so it's just you and one co-founder right now. Are you guys like outsourcing, like staff, or how are you guys managing the workload?
Yeah, great question. So we actually, it's
Social
funny that you're,
media and
yeah,
uh-huh.
it's funny that you're asking now because we just went through kind of reforming the team. And this literally happened in the past like 2 weeks. So, we just brought on a CTO. He's helping us as a third co-founder right now. He's going to help us
Nice.
really just establish the new platform that we're building, because we're revisiting the rebuild of the platform. The initial MVP that we had built was, great. It served its purpose, but it wasn't going to be able to scale long term. So we're going ahead and, rebuilding our tech stack. He's helping us build the product in the next, 30 days to 90 days. So we're really going to get that done in about like 3 months. So we're really excited about that. Yeah. And,
Talk about
yeah.
like sorry, go ahead. Please.
No, just real quick, I was going to say, and we also have a few other team members helping us. So we have a UX designer and we have an intern as well. So
Yeah, yeah. Those people really do like, you know, um, push the needle forwards.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, like how is it, in that transition phase when you're shifting from your working product to like
Mhm.
building a new tech stack or such?
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting, and I've learned so much over the past like 6 months. Really, just getting into the weeds of like how to build our tech stack. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what I will say is the transition is honestly not as daunting as people make it seem. Typically, when it comes to switching new tech stacks, um, what I've seen is it's really just kind of understanding what were the core elements that you need to transfer over, and then how can you enhance it, make it better, so that when you rebuild it, it's really just going to be at its full capacity. Um,
Yeah.
the transition that we're doing, for example, we were on Google Firebase, we were hosted on there,
Okay.
and now we're transitioning to AWS Lightsail. So that's kind of like the server, like holding all the data and being able to kind of do it that way in that sense. Um, and then on the flip side, we're also thinking about like what are other softwares that we should be using and we can be using to like do all the work that we're doing, like GitHub, for example, Jira, things like that. And then we're also thinking about like the softwares that we're using in general just to build the application. So
I see.
it's really not as daunting. What we've seen is like we understood from the MVP, okay, these are the core elements that we need. It's a must have, like need to have. These are the nice to have features, and here are the things that we can maybe innovate on in the future, but that's not even something we think about for the next year or two. Yeah. Yeah.
So, are you like the operator in in Ecopreneur? What is your role been like?
Yeah,
What is your role and what has it been like?
absolutely. Yeah. So I'm the co-founder and CEO. And then I have also Jared, who's my co-founder and COO. And then we just brought on our co-founder and CTO, who's new to the team now. Yeah, I've been operating the company and really just running it from the top, but I don't really like to say it that way because we don't think that way in our leadership. We like to kind of think more linear. Everyone has a say, everybody is contributing, and we're all moving as a unit quickly towards the end goal of like building a successful platform. Um, but really, regardless, there's that leadership quality that's needed. So I always try to lead
Yeah.
by example. So, yeah,
Yeah, and like, you've been working throughout. You've held a slew of roles in
yeah,
e-commerce and marketing, in your journey as well. Like, what has that taught you?
yeah. It's taught me to over the years the position. I've done so many different positions. I've been a courier. I've been a marketer. I've been a canvasser. Like the list goes on. But over the years, from kind of, if I could wrap it up in one, it's allowed me to kind of analyze the world and to think in systems that I think is very necessary when it comes to building anything that you do. I think it's very important to build systems, to think in a way of systems and like how do systems interact with one another. It's probably a very techie thing to say,
Yeah,
but
very techy,
but
very
yeah,
techy.
but that's what I've trained my brain to kind of think that way, and um, it's allowed for us to really operate efficiently and being able to execute, especially now that we have a clear path of understanding, where our market is, what they're looking for, um, as we're building kind of the final platform of Ecopreneur. And this was the past 3 or 4 years in the making at this point since we pivoted
Really?
initially. Um, it was a lot of market research, a lot of understanding our audience, getting some kind of feedback directly from actual users. And now that we're at a point of enough research, we're ready to go to market and just, launch it and then eventually scale it too. So, yeah.
That market research, when you're a founder, it has to be it's a continuous
Yeah,
commitment, right? To
always. Yeah,
understanding your users, right?
definitely. Definitely. Yeah, it never ends. I mean, even when you're a $10 billion company, you still have to think about what do my users want? Have they shifted their wants and needs? Is the market shifting for whatever reason? What's happening in the market? How can we adapt to that? Or do we have to even change our business model if need be altogether?
So is
Um,
that you or is that your co-founder that's doing the like market research on
Both
his
of us
end?
combined. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So we like to move as a unit. So like when the way that me and Jared think is we like to remove obstacles that limit us from growth and understanding. So like typically if we see a problem in the business, we'll come together, think together about the problem and then execute on what needs to be done to get rid of the problem or to avoid it. Um, so when it comes to us just being able to, execute on not only just product market fit, but also, market research and different things that we have to do as a unit, we like to do that as a team because it allows for us to move that much faster. Yeah.
hmm.
Yeah.
What's been helpful in allowing you guys to move as one unit as opposed to as separate
Yeah.
co-founders?
Great question. I mean, it's funny. We were just talking about this like a few weeks back. When it comes to the way that Jared and I used to operate, it was very siloed, very separate. We would take one task, I would take the other. Like we would just kind of try to deal with problems on our own separately. And we realized that we were just kind of running in circles because we didn't have each other to kind of balance each other and help each other figure out like what's actually the true core problem going on, whatever we were facing. Um, So with that dynamic and that being said, when we were trying to separately take on things, it actually created more problems out of that, and it became a spiral, and it slowed us down tremendously, and we weren't able to execute and move the way that we wanted to as far as like getting new customers or building the product and things like that. So what we decided, and we made a kind of a pact to each other, was going forward as we're building this company, we're going to do this together every step of the way. If we have a marketing strategy right now that we need to execute on to grow our user base, we're going to ideate together. If we are looking to bring on a new customer and they have a specific feature request, we're going to think about how that needs to get executed with our new CTO. Things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys, all three of you guys, ecopreneurs, are in San Diego together, or you guys are in separate locations in the US?
Yeah, we're actually separate locations, so we're fully remote right now. So I'm in San Diego, like I mentioned earlier. Jared is in Massachusetts, South Shore, which is where I'm from as well. But and then our CTO, who we just brought on, he's actually near Las Vegas, Nevada. So he's like a town over from there. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
how long have you and Jared been working together now?
Oh yeah, Jared and I. So he really started with me at the beginning of Ecopreneur. When I started the company in 2019, he actually was helping me from a contracting standpoint. He was helping me with graphic design and branding work. The logo that you see today, for example, was all revised and done by him. We had an older version of the logo and he rejuvenated it and made it amazing. So shout out to him and kudos to him for that. But
Yeah.
um, when it comes to the length of our relationship, we've known each other for a decade now. And we knew each other since, yeah, we went to the same college together. So we've known each other since then. Yep.
Okay. And you attended.
Stonehill College in Massachusetts.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
in
Yep.
Massachusetts. Okay.
Yep.
So
Yep.
my question for you, Phil, is what do you do when you and Jared, or I guess now you're a technical co-founder, what do you guys do when you run across a point where you disagree on something?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's happened too many times, Sujung. We fight like an old married couple. It's funny. Yeah,
All
we've
right.
done it way too many times. It's really great because it allows for us to grow. When we have disagreements, when we run into issues, and we see we're kind of at an impasse, it forces us to then understand each other and level up to a degree that grows our relationship more and makes us more compatible as founders.
Yes.
Um, and with every disagreement, there really is a learning opportunity. That's the way we like to look at it. We may have different opinions, but then we have to force ourselves to learn each other's opinions and then understand, okay, what is it that you're trying to say? What is it that I'm trying to say? Let's find that middle ground and then let's move forward and then let's not look back at it and revisit and just kind of rehash it because otherwise we're running in circles. And if we messed up and we made a mistake and we didn't come to a solution even though we thought we did, that's okay. We learned from it and now we know how to move forward and make the right decisions around those things. So we look at every disagreement as a learning opportunity. That's the way that we like to kind of structure the culture of like how we think about things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. I'm so
Yeah.
glad that you have co-founders that you're actually getting along with and that
Yeah.
you guys are just in a good place.
Yeah.
Um,
Not without effort.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, Ecopreneur is in fact a volunteering platform. What is the revenue model like? What's the business
Yeah.
model like for Ecopreneur?
Absolutely.
How do you guys make money?
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to be implementing this very soon. We're thinking about a couple things. So partnerships for one. We're looking at, well, to answer your question initially, the way that we structure our pricing model is a flat, either monthly or yearly subscription, depending on whoever is going to use the platform. So from a partnership standpoint, we're thinking about looking at partners like right now we're exploring a partnership with National Honor Society, for example, huge organization, one of the oldest educational institutions.
Yeah.
Um, with their school chapters that file under them, we would charge a yearly flat fee to use the platform. Schools in general will also pay that too, even if they're in or outside of NHS.
Okay.
Um, on the flip side, we're also looking at direct to consumer. So we're thinking about parents, students that their kids that can directly use our platform, whether you're affiliated with the school or not. You can still access Ecopreneur to reap its benefits and to build your student's career path, but then also being able to just stand out and look good for college applications or build their resume from a young age. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the two models, and for them, it's either going to be a monthly or yearly fee depending on what they opt in on.
How
There
much
will
do
be
you
a
guys
small. Sorry, go ahead.
how much do you guys charge?
Yeah, so we're thinking about a low charge for parents right now. That'll be probably about 99 cents or like $2 a month. And then
Nice. Nice.
for the students, their kids, it'll be a little bit more than that. So somewhere around like probably 7, $8 a month, something like that.
Oh, and
Yeah,
this is the direct to consumer model, right?
exactly. Yeah. So this is going to be the direct to consumer. So like if kids are, for example, homeschooled, they can still access Ecopreneur. If they're in a high school that maybe isn't on Ecopreneur yet, they could still access Ecopreneur themselves. So we're really trying to open it up for anybody and everybody to join.
Oh,
So
I see. And how much do you charge the schools?
yeah, so schools are going to vary. With National Honor Society, we're thinking about a special pricing. I don't want to speak on that yet because we're not 100% sure what that pricing is going to look like yet. But for the schools, it's going to be significantly more. So it's probably going to be, it would probably
Thousands.
fall, yeah, thousands, or it may be like $1,000 a year, depending on like the size of the school and like what we end up negotiating with them. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I'm, you know, kind of wondering with the advent of AI and everything that's going on in the world today, how does AI fit into entrepreneur?
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. You know, we, Sujung, we try to like, really be realistic about how we're going to implement AI instead of just saying we're going to do AI just for the sake of it. So the way that we're thinking about it is, what is a realistic way that Ecopreneur can implement AI, where it doesn't come across as very trendy or anything like that? It's actually useful. We don't want to just build another AI chatbot or another, just a generic build that everybody, is doing. Um, so the way that we're thinking about it for our platform uniquely is going back to what I talked about earlier with the matching students to opportunities. We're thinking about it from a standpoint of, can we build an AI matching algorithm? When you create a profile as a student, you take kind of a quick mini survey that's going to take you maybe 2, 3 minutes. And then from there, we'll be able to directly match you to opportunities based on
In
your
your
own
area.
unique, yeah, exactly. And also based on your own unique career pathway. So there's kind of that twofold thing going on there. And it combines that all together to create a career pathway for the students. So, yeah.
Got you, got you.
So that's the way we're thinking about it right now. And it's going to stand out from our competitors because none of them are doing it. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I just, I was thinking, why not like senior citizens as well because they benefit hugely from volunteering as well.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I love that you say that. I mean, that's the future, the use of, ecopreneurs, future use cases there is, seniors, senior living, um, court systems, even when we're thinking about previously incarcerated people, people that need to get hours done in general. We definitely have a system that can multiply and go across to different and new verticals. But, right now we're just focusing on education, and then once we kind of have a good grasp on the market there, then we're going to definitely be open to other things like either stepping into those other industries ourselves or white labeling. So,
Was
yeah.
not expecting all of that, but okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, who are your competitors? I'm kind of
yeah.
yeah. What's the field like for a volunteering platform?
Yeah, there's quite a few. Just to name a few, Mobile Serve, X2 Vol. Um, those are a few of those guys. Givefinity. There's a couple. It's not an endless list, but there's quite a bunch. When it comes to them, they a lot of the time will position themselves as just purely an effective tool that institutions like schools can use. We're trying to go a step beyond by thinking about incorporating AI, for example, like I just mentioned. Uh, Thinking about it from like a marketing perspective, like how do we position ourselves to stand out from a marketing perspective too? So like
How do
we're
you
thinking about,
how do you stand out in a marketing perspective?
yeah, I think what our competitors are lacking when it comes to that is actually showing the stories and the work that students and schools are doing and staying close to students, especially. For example, if you check out our TikTok, we have an amazing intern who's helping us right now with our marketing online. She's actually a high schooler herself, and she's based out of New Jersey. She's amazing, and shout out to her. She's been helping us, manage our social media, and she's been pushing content on our TikTok. None of our competitors are even really doing that, and I think one or two have tried, but the marketing was very generic and like it wasn't as inviting and wasn't as like engaging. The way that we're
She's
approaching it
paid,
is
right?
what's up?
She's a paid intern.
Yeah, no, she's not getting paid at the moment.
Oh, just
She's
from high school.
yes, exactly, yeah, and she's just getting a lot of internship experience for her, to transition out of that.
I
But
see, I see.
but it's really good because she's getting good credits out of it and everything like that. And it's exciting because the work that she's doing, she's not only learning from it, but then on the flip side too, having that high school kind of young experience and understanding is allowing for us to appeal to students in a better way. And the last thing I'll say about that is when it comes to the marketing efforts and how we're thinking about how we're going to approach the audience, we're trying to put on a student, like a young person's lens and trying to understand like where they're coming from, what they're looking for. Um, and then really just telling their story and being able to showcase like what kind of work are they doing and how do we really build a community that's like community first and then really authentic in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what was the process like, approaching her, or I guess like with like onboarding the intern, the high school intern?
Yeah, she's awesome. It's funny, I was invited to speak because I lived in New Jersey at a time in my life for a few years. And I was invited to speak at a high school, Monroe Township High School in Monroe Township, New Jersey.
Nice.
So I was like, yeah, I was really excited about that. And I was invited to speak there twice now at this point. So that was 2 or 3 years ago the first time, and then last year I went again. Um, and yeah, I loved it. I loved every moment of it. It was great to be able to speak with the students and kind of talk about my own personal experience and my entrepreneurship journey and everything like that. And at the end of my second time being there, talking to students, I was invited on. Um, a lot of them approached me after class and they wanted to talk to me, and that's how I met our current intern right now that's helping us out.
Nice.
And then fast forward how we ended up onboarding her. We went through the New Jersey State Department to try to get that in motion. There's a program where they allow for high school students to intern for companies, and we ended up like filling out paperwork around that. And then she was able to begin interning with us. A little bit of a hack. A lot of people don't know about that, but you can definitely work with high school students to do internship and give them experience in that way too.
Right. Just gotta file a government paper. Filing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a quick process online. You just kind of fill out some paperwork and then you're good to, work with whoever you're looking to work with. And you also have to get parent approval with the kids too. So the parents have to approve, they give the check mark, thumbs up, and then you're good to work with them.
Yeah, I wish I had thought of interning that early. I didn't start until like after I graduated from
I know, me too.
university.
Yeah, literally. We're so old now, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I started like when I was like 14, 15, and these kids are way ahead of the curve. So yeah,
Our kids are more high school students interning in this day and age.
we're starting to see a trend around that actually. That's also what feeds our platform and what's going to allow for us to organically grow really fast, which I'm excited about. There's going to be a lot of growth flywheels that are going to happen because of that dynamic. We're starting to see youth really starting to get more experience at an earlier age because they want to start earlier.
I see.
It's also a mixture of a little bit of FOMO and kind of just fear in general because they're not sure where their careers are going to go if they start late. They're
Yeah.
also trying to outcompete their peers and trying to really just like stand out for college experience and college applications.
Yeah.
So
Might that be because of
yeah,
like, the fear of AI taking jobs in this, in the job market today?
very
That
well
probably
could.
has something to do with it. Yeah.
It very well could, Sujan. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good observation. I never even thought about that. I mean, that's definitely a rising problem I'm seeing is AI is taking over in so many ways. And when I say AI, it's not even just, um, redundant tasks. Now we're even starting to see robots kind of coming into the fold when we're looking at like Elon Musk and his Tesla storefronts. He has now robots greeting people when they walk in. So there's
Oh.
that kind of, yeah, it's weird. Right? So it's this dynamic that's shifting right now, and um, I think there's this rising fear within the youth of like, oh my God, I'm probably gonna have a very hard time getting a job when I get older. I want to start to kind of build my experience, but now I'm also starting to see a trend of people really becoming proficient utilizing AI itself. Because what I'm seeing a trend in is jobs are now looking for people that have proficiency within using AI versus somebody that doesn't. They'd go for that person that does have that proficiency versus somebody that doesn't. So that's kind of like that shift that's happening right now. Yeah.
Yeah, you really can't alter. You can't like fake,
Yeah.
critical thinking.
You can't.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, volunteering is a great way to, combat that. So yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. So we're still trying to go back to the grassroots with our platform. With Ecopreneur, like, yes, it's good to get that experience, but you got to start young and you got to start kind of building that early on so you can get that advantage. But then you can also personalize it and make it unique to you. And that's what we're trying to build with our platform and especially with the matching algorithm. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an uber inspiring episode. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And where can the audience find you, Phil?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can visit our website as simple as ecopreneur.digital. So you'll find us there, and then you'll find me and my co-founder on social media as well. My tag on pretty much everything is Ecopreneur Phil. So you'll be able to find me pretty much on all platforms. And then, yeah, you can connect with and reach out with to me and anybody on the team.
All right. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I had a great time.